Hey everyone, this is Daniel,
And I'm June,
and we are
Korean.
American.
Hello.
Hey everyone,
Today we have a very special guest.
very special.
Yeah. It's been so long since we had a guest.
It is kind of awkward. Let me go.
Yeah.
All right, so this week we have another guest episode in line with our goals of having more guests this year. Oh yeah, Byung was the last guest one. Okay, yeah, that's
Oh.
right. Okay, but yeah, today we have actually a listener who just moved to Korea recently, and who I had the chance to get coffee with earlier, and I just thought that our guest Raychel, you had such an awesome story, a very unique perspective.
Thank you.
And given that you're literally 1 month into living in Korea,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought you'd have.
Been less than a week.
We thought you'd have an amazing, perspective, a lot of fresh takes for us. So yeah, why don't you start by just giving us a quick introduction?
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. My name is Raychel McKelvy. I came here from Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. When people ask me where I'm from, I'm say all over, just because my family moved a couple of times when I was young. So I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, moved to Dallas, moved back to Kansas City, then Nashville, Tennessee, which is where majority of my family lives now. But as an adult, I've lived in Dallas, Texas, Tyler, Texas, Knoxville, Tennessee, Los Angeles, and
Wow.
then Chicago.
What
Before I
made
moved
you
here.
live in so many different cities?
Trying different things, to be honest. So after college, I moved to Dallas to go to grad school. I realized I didn't love school, so I actually dropped out. My college and my school journey is here, there, and everywhere. But did that and then moved to Tyler, Texas, where I had spent summers as a camp counselor.
Never heard of Tyler.
Really? Oh, yeah. Most people haven't, unless you're from Tyler.
Is it like what
So-
part of Texas?
Oh, it's East Texas.
East Texas,
Do you know the
okay.
Kansas City Chiefs?
Yes.
Okay, Patrick Mahomes
Oh,
was
No,
born in Tyler,
okay,
Texas.
okay.
Yeah. So that's like their claim to fame right now.
Putting him on the map, yeah.
Yeah. But still, most
This is
people
so
think
Do you
American.
know who Patrick Mahomes is?
Probably some sports person.
American football. And see, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri,
Yeah.
and so that is our team.
Which also, June, Kansas City straddles the boundary between two American states, which I'm not even going to try to. I know one is Kansas.
Yeah.
The other's Missouri. Okay,
Correct,
okay.
yeah.
The
So
reason
you always
why-
have to specify which part of Kansas City.
I see.
Yes.
The reason why I thought it was so American is that in a normal Korean conversation, you wouldn't reference a sports star and say like that's
The claim
where
to
that
fame.
person is from.
That's probably the first thing you do in America.
Yeah.
Or some famous person, they're from that city
Sports
or
is
town.
very important.
Very.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah. When I lived in Knoxville, Peyton Manning, who was a famous quarterback, was from, he did his undergrad at Knoxville, Tennessee school, UT Knoxville.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay,
everyone
okay.
always talked about Peyton Manning this and Peyton Manning that, even though he started playing for the Colts for a long time.
Well, I knew he went to Tennessee,
Yeah.
but it's in Knoxville. I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Again, when I lived there, it was like Peyton Manning country.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Tyler, Knoxville, and LA and Chicago were all for jobs. I've been mostly a teacher, but then I moved to LA to also pursue acting. And then Chicago, I was trying to do both, kind of, sort of.
Wow.
And so.
Are you still pursuing acting?
I would like to. I'm trying to get my feet underneath me here.
Wow.
But then, I don't know. Maybe just go. I love Korean dramas, so I'm like, maybe I'll just go be an extra.
I don't
or-
think you know what? I don't think it's gonna be hard.
I don't think it's hard.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I told you
Yeah.
when I met you. If you want to get into a drama, I think you can.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. So,
Bring me with you.
also, I low-key want to write K-dramas too. And so I have an idea. And I'm like,
Ooh,
but
okay.
I was like, I can't, at least in the Hollywood world, you don't write, well, nowadays, you don't write things that you're not connected to or a part of.
I see.
And so I was like, even though I love K-dramas, I would need to co-write with a Korean
I
writer
see.
to make it legit, probably.
That is
I don't think
amazing.
you have to worry about that.
Here, okay. I don't know. I'm just very used to. It was like, if you don't write
I
stories
know,
of a
yeah,
world
yeah. You have to be so
now,
careful about misrepresenting or pretending like something you're not. Anyway,
yeah.
Since you live in so many cities, I cannot not ask this question.
Yeah.
What was your favorite city to live in?
oh,
Chicago probably.
Chicago.
Yeah, but
Chicago
that was
was like one of the few major U.S. cities that I haven't been to.
Really?
Oh,
No.
okay. I just assumed because of your architecture background.
I know, right? I really wanted to go to Chicago.
Dude, that
Yeah.
architecture boat tour is awesome. Yeah, you have to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never did it while
Just
I
for-
lived there, but what? I
You lived there how long and you didn't do that?
6 years. It was on my bucket list before I left. You know how it's like you live there, so you say,
No, I know,
I'll
but
always
when
get
you're
to it.
leaving, you got to knock off the bucket list.
I know, but then my summer got so busy,
Oh.
and I just,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah. All that to say, I didn't expect to like Chicago because I don't love the cold, but the people, the culture, the diversity, like the range of food that you can get in Chicago is incredible.
Wow.
Agreed.
So you endure the winters, and then summertime, Shy, is just has yet to be beat.
Wow.
I think of all the places I've lived. So
Chicago's one of my favorite cities.
Yeah.
I've only visited there a couple times, but I love it. Yeah.
yeah.
Now I want to go more.
Yeah. Listen, if you ever go, I got a ton of people that you can stay with and meet with and
Oh,
all that. Yeah.
awesome.
Free accommodations.
Awesome.
Isn't that a very American thing too, June?
Is it?
You just meet someone, you're like, oh, you're going there? Hey, call this person up. They'll hook you
Yeah.
up. They'll show you around. You can crash at their place.
I guess it is. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would have said that before I moved here.
Yeah.
But coming here, I knew a couple of people who were from Korea, and I came here with probably 5 different numbers.
Yeah.
And one guy, he's got dual citizenship in U.S. and Korea, and we got connected through a friend. He happened to be in Chicago the month before I left.
Uh-huh.
So we met up, and yeah, they were like, if you need, here's an address to use to like
Oh.
say where you're gonna be here.
Yeah.
Like if you need a phone number, I'll go with you and help you find
Oh, wow.
X, Y, and Z. If you need a climate card, he's like, I've got one registered, but I drive, so you can like use it for a while. And
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I don't know. I think I would have said that, but coming here, there were a lot of people, and then checked in like the day after I arrived. Have you gotten here? Do you need anything?
Just being super accommodating and friendly and helpful
Yeah.
beyond maybe what your relationship might warrant.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
yeah. So and
That's
I have,
great to hear.
Yeah.
We ask our guests to give us their cultural resume as well.
Oh yes.
So, what makes you who you are, and what are the major cultural influences, let's say, in your life?
Yeah. My family, I would say specifically, very much influences my cultural makeup. So both of my parents are Black or African American, whichever term you want to use. But we grew up in very diverse areas. So my dad's a pastor, but we've always been a part of diverse churches. And so I grew up dancing. My best friend was half Japanese, half white, and my other best friend was white. I was like, outside of that, I was probably the only Black girl for a long time in my dance school. But then the church we went to, we had Black, white, Hispanic, and then, let's see, LA, I had a pretty diverse friend group, and then Chicago was really diverse for me. So I went to a church that was, I would say, probably 80% Latino, and within that, about 80% of the Latinos were Puerto Rican. And so that was kind of my real first foray into like deep Latin American culture. And then from there at that church, I met my roommate and my good friend who is second gen Indian American. So her parents immigrated from India. And so living together, I feel like I learned a lot about more like the Eastern culture, collectivism. I studied a lot of it in college as a communications major. So I feel like I understood a lot in theory, but then really getting to live with her. And then I have a friend that I do a podcast with who is Korean American. And so we would talk about, just cultural differences. And again, I think Chicago lends itself to, if you want to insert yourself into different cultures, it's pretty easy to do. There's a lot of different festivals, again, restaurants. I've been to I love Indian and Korean food. And so in Chicago would go and be the only either non-Indian or the only non-Korean in the restaurant. And I don't speak the language at all, but they're, we figure it out and have a lot of fun. And so, I would say I grew up very much like Black American, but then have learned through friendships and relationships how to just engage with other cultures and learn a lot from them. I really thought I knew and kind of cornered the market on what it was like to be a minority in America. But I would say over the last 6 years, especially living in Chicago, that has really been challenged in realizing that there are different perspectives and there are different, like the minority experience as a Black American is very different than the minority experience as an Indian American or a Korean American, where, America's very westernized and very individualistic. And so how do you, like my roommate and I would talk about all the time, how do you toggle the tension of growing up in a collectivistic society in your home, but existing in a very individualistic world and like valuing like things that are more of an Eastern mindset, but then you leave your home and it's the complete opposite. And yeah, I don't know if that was the answer you're looking for, but
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Before we move on though, like from your upbringing, sounds like you're more of a Midwest girl, but then you moved to LA.
Yeah.
How was that transition? Did you feel at home in LA? Are you more at home in the Midwest or kind of equally split now?
Equally, I loved LA in that I had really good friends. I was going there to pursue acting, and so I was really surrounded by creative people, which was, I think, the first time most of my community was super creative. I don't love driving, but as long as I'm not in a rush, I didn't mind. So even the traffic didn't bother me because I would just, factor in it's probably going to take me 2 hours to get somewhere, and really in reality it's only an hour. So then I wasn't rushed.
Listen to some podcasts in the car.
Yeah. Did a lot of FaceTiming. I probably shouldn't admit that, but I would just set my phone like in the little dash, and so family's looking at my nose or friends, but I can hear and talk to them that way. And I love hot weather, so I love the LA vibes.
Okay.
It was very different, but at least in LA, a lot of people that go complain it's very fake because everyone's trying to create this persona. Which it can be, but I think also people will meet you where you're at. Like they'll reciprocate what you put out. And so I just tried to be myself and be authentic as much as possible. I think it helped that I moved to LA after I turned 30. And so there was a lot of, I just didn't care.
A little more self-secure and confident. Yeah.
After teaching high schoolers, I taught high school for 2 years before I went to LA. I was like, y'all can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
I would walk in this class and students, they call me Miss Mac. This one kid was like, man, Miss Mac, I hate this class every day.
Your class.
My class. I said, welcome, Aaron. I'm so glad. I said, you still got to be here. And eventually he would say it, but he'd be like, I mean, I like you, Miss Mac, but I hate this class. And then like some days I'd walk in and students would be like, you thought you looked good in that today? And I was like, yeah, I did. Thank you very much. I don't care.
High school kids are brutal.
They're
no filter.
They will teach you not to care. Or they'd be like, Snapchat, well, I guess it's still big, but it was really big back then. And so I taught English, so they would come in different periods. And so a kid from third period would come in and be like, oh, Miss Mac, I saw you on so-and-so Snapchat during first period. You were being so dumb. Because I would talk in accents and I would sing and I would dance and all the things. And so I was like, you know what? Your opinion does not matter. Does not matter at all.
Thick skin.
Yeah. So I think that helped going into LA. So then I was really able to enjoy it and just I had to learn to have no pride also. So I went in with, I was adjuncting as a college professor at that point. So I had my master's degree, like left a stable job of teaching, and I would get hired as a PA or a production assistant. So my job was bringing snacks and bringing coffee and escorting people. But I was like, if you can leave your pride at the door and just be yourself, I found that a lot of people were pretty receptive. And so, yeah, LA was a lot of fun.
Sorry, I'm not ready to move on from that teaching. Like, teaching in the age of social media must be wild. Like, your first period kids would Snapchat you, and then your later kids would see you in the... What?
Yeah. Because I would just say or do something. I remember one class period, we were going through the Scarlet Letter, and the students were falling asleep. And I was like, what do you need? Like, what do you need? And they were like, I don't know. I was like, guys, this isn't kindergarten work, and you're in high school. Like, you'll be fine. And they were like, well, read it to us like we're in kindergarten. I was like, okay, bet. So I like climbed up on a desk and I was like, so one day they were just, and they were enraptured.
Really?
But then of course that ended up on somebody's Snapchat and they're like, Miss Mac, why were you talking like they were in kindergarten? I said, because they asked. Ask them.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I think you sound like a good teacher at least, right? Who'll engage with their students and try to do whatever it takes in a sense to get them to listen.
Yeah, I try. I always told them, which if you're a teacher out there, don't hate me. I didn't go to school for teaching, but my goal was just to have fun.
Yeah.
And so I told students, if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And so obviously there's goals that we have to hit and things like that. But even I taught public speaking in Chicago, and most people are afraid of it, right? That's statistically the number one fear. Death is number two. So I would come into
Public
class.
speaking ahead of death.
Yeah. So I would come into class the first day and be like, "Hi everyone, welcome." My name is Prof. Mac. I was like, "Welcome to public speaking." You know, statistically, most of you are probably terrified. So most of you would probably rather die than take public speaking. And I was like, by the end of the semester, I just want to switch those, right? Like, let's know that you can give a speech and not die.
Yeah.
And so that was the goal of how can we have fun with it while still learning what we need to learn.
Cool.
We're only like 10 minutes in, and already I can feel that, like, just by depicting your life of like living in different cities and like the life that you pursued is so much different from how a Korean person would think. Like, first of all, we don't experience that much of diversity, which I'm very jealous for. Like, that you get to understand what Indian cuisine is or Korean is, like what the cultures are, and meet so many different people. That thing I think is something that Korean people very lacks, because we're just like all homogenous, and we just think that this is the culture itself, and it's just it.
Yeah.
And all the cities are kind of similar. Am I off base?
Yeah, it's not that diverse as it is in the States.
Yeah. That's fair.
And also the fact that you like go on this path of, you know, your career path of teaching, and all of a sudden you want to pursue acting, right? That's something that Korean people would never do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And so just by hearing the 10 minutes of your intro, I already can feel that it's like a very different lifestyle philosophy than what a Korean would think.
Yeah.
I would say you've traveled more maybe than your super typical American, but not that much more. I mean, like your kind of story, moving around, pursuing different jobs and careers, it's not that extreme.
Yeah, no, it's not that extreme. I think it also just depends on who you are, right? I would tell especially my college students a lot, because in college they're all freaking out. What am I going to do? This one, you know, major is going to determine the rest of my life. And I was like, bro, no. if nothing else, I'm a living example. But everyone is different. So the two friends I mentioned that I grew up with dancing, I remember one sleepover we had when we were like 14 or 15. We talked about life goals. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I think I want to be an actor, maybe a dancer, maybe whatever. My one friend, she was like, I want to go to med school. I want to get married at 26. I want to have kids. I want to take over my dad's practice.
Whoa,
Was she Korean?
This is Japanese. But she did all those things, right? Like, and her path was very much the same. And then my other friend,
she manifested her life.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And then my other friend, she was like, I don't really know, but all I love to do is dance. And she's stayed a dancer. She owns a dance company now, like all those things. And so for some people, I think your life stays the same. My parents are both very creative people. And even though my dad's career path has stayed the same, he's always done weird, odd, and end jobs. So when I was 8 or 9, I think my family auditioned for our community theater musical, and the whole family was in it. So my dad had a role, my mom had a role. It was a Music Man. And so then me and my brothers all played kids in the show. My dad was a gym attendant at one point. So he would go to the gym early in the morning and clean equipment and check people in, stuff like that. And my mom is always, or like has always been in different things. She owned a catering business at one point. She made wedding cakes at one point. She would braid hair. She would teach piano lessons, like all. So I feel like even within our home, things were always changing and moving. And my parents are pretty adventurous. So even coming to Korea, you know, I was like, I'm 36. Like most people, I was like, I've been teaching for 10 years now. It's either you do it or you don't, you know. My mom was like, just go. She's like, try it for a year. And if you hate it, just come home. You know, my dad was a little more worried. He's like, you know, tell me a little bit more about Korea and like, what is your plan after and X, Y, and Z. But they both were like, yeah, if you want to do it, just try. Which I would say is somewhat common, but maybe not super duper common in America. Maybe the older your kids get. I think parents want their kids to have that stability and My parents are like, whatever.
It's so liberating for a Korean
To hear.
that you cannot, you can just do this and not like follow the path that everyone else is following, and then you can just like be totally fine.
I did not grow up with that freedom either.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
parents are, I would say, generally supportive, but also very risk averse in the sense that like, no, just follow the path, right?
Yeah.
Go to college, get a job, work hard, retire, that thing. So
Yeah.
Even for me, I studied architecture, and I'm not doing architecture right now. And then whenever I introduce myself to a Korean or like be in job interviews, that's like the one thing that doesn't really register with people. Like, why
you went to
did
grad
stu-
school
yeah,
for
why
this
did you
thing.
study this?
You're not
Yeah.
doing
You're
that
not
thing.
doing that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Rachel, I'm surprised we haven't even mentioned your family size yet.
Oh, yes.
Because I nearly fell out of my seat when you told me. But you didn't bring it up. So clearly it's not like a core part of your identity.
It is, but I think it's one where it's just so normal to me that I don't even think to bring it up.
Okay.
But I'm the oldest of 10 kids.
And I have a lot of kids for Korea, but I mean,
Yeah.
10 kids is
Yeah.
next level.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
old is your sibling's youngest?
Yeah, he is 17. So, yes,
It's
yeah. 'cause
not
we're
that
still in-
young. And you're 36.
Is
I
it-
was 19 when he was born. I was in college already.
I mean, I have friends who's like has a similar age gap.
Yeah.
But it's like an oopsie baby, right? Like
Yeah.
it was never planned. But
No,
your parents just had 10
They
kids.
just said that be fruitful, multiply, go, 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 like it
Yeah.
wild.
So you're like oldest sister to an extreme.
Yes, yeah,
9 younger siblings.
yeah.
Do you act as somewhat like parents to your younger siblings?
Yes and no. I think I will say, so my mom is number 6 of 10, so she also came from a big family. My dad is the oldest of 3, but the way that his home life was, he did raise his siblings. And so I think both my parents were very conscious of making sure that I had freedom. So they always, like, if they needed someone to watch my siblings, they would always ask first. A lot of times I would get some form of payment, even if it wasn't money. It was like, we know that you're saving up for new ballet shoes or whatever. We'll help contribute towards that. But I am also naturally bossy. And so I interviewed my dad for a class one time, and students asked my dad, what was I like as a kid? He was like, oh, we have to tell Rachel all the time she's not a parent. Like, I think just as an oldest, sometimes you naturally fall into telling people what to do.
Totally, yeah.
And so,
I have so much respect for 장녀s. Do you know what a 장녀 is?
no.
It's Korean word for oldest daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a very specific character of a 장녀. Very responsible, very caring, and all that.
Yeah.
And I specifically have this idea because did I tell you before when I was in college, my roommate, he used to date 막내, like a youngest.
Okay.
And every time they fought a lot for some reason. And every time they had a big fight, he would come into my dorm room and very rarely he would say, "Can I smoke?" I would say, like, "Go ahead." And he would smoke. And he would always say, "Never date a 막내."
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would just say, like, respect to your parents for setting those good boundaries.
Yeah.
And it's something we talk about a lot, which is like boundary setting, and how in Korean culture I think it can be seen as a little bit maybe cold or just like not close. But I think healthy boundaries are what maintains healthy relationships.
Yeah.
So not putting you into the role of like default mom, your second mom in the family, right?
Yeah.
And letting you be your own person, but also when you do play that role, right, make sure you're kind of willing,
Yeah.
and also make sure you're kind of recognized and rewarded for it. I just think it's very healthy. So,
Yeah. I was really appreciative.
all right, now we can go back that tangent to what you were saying. What were you saying earlier?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
what
I
brings you
wanted
to-
I wanted to hear your story. Is this the first time you living abroad outside of the US?
Yes,
And
yeah.
what brought you here in Korea specifically?
Yeah. So last summer, I came for the first time with the college that I used to work at. Our choir came to tour around. So the choir director is originally from South Korea.
You sing too.
So I sing in a choir, but I was just chaperoning. I just got to, we had a lot of chaperones that trip. So I told everyone my job was to bring the vibes. So I just kind of, it was a very intense travel, especially for college students that weren't used to it. And so I just would give high fives and make up dumb raps and things like that. Like just try to get them to smile and things like that. So anytime I've traveled abroad and anytime I go to a country where I don't know the language, I try to learn at least a little bit to prepare. And so I was doing, the Duolingo, Mango, but the way my brain works, I needed to understand the alphabet first because they write the actual letters, but I was like, this doesn't make sense. So someone pointed me to a YouTube video to learn Hangul in 40 minutes. Yeah. I did it. I learned it. I was like, bet. So while I was here, I was reading without understanding, but just reading. Yeah,
phonetically sounding out.
Yeah. And really enjoyed the trip. Obviously, we were here as a tour group, as a lot of special guests places, but I was really just admired the warmthness that our group was met by. So then when I went back to the States, something popped up to learn Korean online. And I was like, yeah, I want to kind of continue, but I need the discipline of a weekly class to help me actually be motivated. So yeah, I started learning online for a year and then hit 10 years of teaching. And I think I started to feel a little antsy of, do I want to stay in this? I really fell into teaching. It wasn't something I set out to do, but I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. Started teaching at a private school, found I loved it. But I kind of hit this, okay, you're doing it for 10 years. My bosses were really encouraging me to take the next steps to move beyond just a classroom professor. But do I want to set my sights towards being, a chair of a department or a dean or a provost or things like that? And if so, it would require more education. It would require different career paths. And I was like, I don't know. I think I just want a break from life. I kind of was starting to feel. And so I was like, what are the things that I am spending my own time and money on that nobody is forcing me to, right? It's not work related. It's not church related. It's just what I want to do. And the only thing I had was learning Korean because I had even taken a break from acting. I was really starting to get burnt out. So I decided to take what I'm calling a midlife gap year, and
not midlife crisis,
not a midlife crisis, but a midlife gap year instead. And so, I do very much believe it's easier to and best to understand language when you can be immersed in the culture. And I think that language is so tied to culture that to try and learn the language without knowing the culture, it's not helpful. I think, was it on this podcast or Reels? Nelson was talking, he said you're like a wise fool or something, or a dumb fool or something. Something like that. But I was like, I agree with that, right? I think, and especially for a language like Korean that is so honorific and so relationship based and very high context, I was like, I think it will be most helpful to learn it in the actual Korean context.
Was there anything more particular that you wanted to pursue more into learning this language? Like, were you interested in the culture, or like, was there anything that was more fascinating to you? Because I would guess that you speak you have learned other languages too, right?
Yeah, I learned a little bit of Spanish, and then again, the church I was at, we had a Spanish translated service, so we would do a couple of songs every Sunday in Spanish as well. And so, but I don't speak it. I can read it and understand a few words here and there.
I think before, because you came to Korea last summer, and in preparation of that, like you do for all your trips, you said you learned the language. But was that your first foray into learning Korean, or did you have any desire or Korean influence before that trip?
In 2015, I met a girl, we taught at the same high school, who loved Korean dramas. And so she introduced me. I still remember it was Labor Day weekend. We were hanging out and she was like, have you heard of Korean dramas? Because she knew I liked to act. I said no. And so we watched Coffee Prince.
Oh, that was your first, your gateway drug.
I fell in love. I was like, the writing was so good and like the acting, and I liked the slow burn, and then Gong Yu, and I just was like, oh my gosh, So
you're not alone. Coffee Prince was a popular first one for a lot of people.
Yeah. And so, I've continued to watch dramas ever since. And then my roommate, even though she is Indian, enjoyed a lot of Korean culture things. And so we would go to a lot of Korean restaurants, and she's a huge researcher. And so she would do all this research and know a lot of the history behind why meals were made, how they were made, things like that.
Wow.
And so I always loved going out to eat with her because she picks really good food. So I know it's always going to be a delicious experience,
Yeah.
but then it's also a very informative one. And I think that again, I feel like the last 6 years have really shifted my mindset of the importance of opening your mind to understand other cultures, not just kind of picking and choosing what you want. Because not only did the food taste good, but it tasted richer because I got to understand the history behind it, or why this was made this way, or what significance this meal has. And so,
Do you have anything that you can teach us about Korean food?
probably not.
I'm so fascinated.
We got to get your friend on.
Yeah.
She would love it. Yeah, she started food reels, and so she does like research and stuff.
Wow.
Again, because Chicago's so diverse in food, and so she just did one on a place that sells salantong, and so I don't remember all that she said, but I was like, wow, that's so cool.
So cool. Yeah. Let me eat it now.
Yeah. So I think all of that, and then. The Hallyu wave is very big in the U.S. right now, and so Korean culture is very big. But I think in L.A. and then obviously in Chicago, I had Korean American friends, and so we would sometimes talk about the weird, can I use a big word, juxtaposition of being Korean American, where you grew up and things were not popular, and it was like, oh, why are you bringing this to school? Your food smells bad, whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's cool, and now it's popular, and now Americans talk like they know more than you do as someone who like grew up. And I think that's a really big tension that a lot of Korean Americans, and I would say even a lot of Asian Americans feel right now in America. Because even for my roommate, she was like, she had in school, someone told her food looked like dog poop.
Oof.
Which was like, why would you say that? She's like, but now everybody loves yoga and turmeric masks and like all these things that were talked so badly about 15, 20 years ago. And so I think even for me, I enjoy watching Korean dramas. I had actually never listened to K-pop until I started learning the language because everyone said do it. But I enjoyed enough of the dramas, enough of the food that I was like, if I'm going to learn, I want to do it the right way. I don't just want to learn to then sound like I know what I'm talking about, but actually, humble myself a little bit and try and learn from the people that this is their culture, right? And I think as a Black American, there's parts of that I feel and understand. Of a lot of America likes to steal parts of Black culture, but nobody wants to be Black, right? Or they want to talk like they know more than I do as my experience as a Black woman. And it's like, you really don't, but okay. So I was like, I never want to do that to other cultures. I never want to impose. And again, I learned a lot of that over the last 6 years of thinking I knew everything because I was a Black woman. I was like, I'm a minority in two senses in America, but realizing the life that people lived as Latino American, the life that people lived as Indian or Korean American is so different. And so trying to learn from that. And even being here, I'll be honest, it's different being a minority in a like homogenous society that is so very different than like American culture.
Yeah. I mean, you're a minority in the US. You're a super minority
Yes.
in Korea.
Yes.
So maybe that's a good time to transition. Yeah. How has your time been in Korea? Maybe talk about the move and your first month here, right?
Yeah. Overall, it has been good and overwhelming. Is kind of how I've been saying it to people. I think I love the convenience of Korea. One of the things I love about Chicago was the public transportation system. So to be here and it's just even on another level has been great. I love that everything's open late, which is, I'm more of a night owl. And so it's nice to have that convenience.
So remind me since I'm a dad too, I never go out late.
Yeah.
Like when do things close in Chicago? Because it's a major city, one of the major cities in the US.
Yeah.
I would also have assumed things were open kind of late.
They are. It depends on what areas you're in. And the area I lived in, like my neighborhood itself was pretty safe. I was in Humboldt Park, but there are certain areas that even if the convenience store is open late,
you
don't want to go there. Yeah. There was a delicious Mexican restaurant on the end of my street that was open till 1 a.m. But again, it's like you kind of pick and choose your battles. I think I'm not a big like club or anything, so I wasn't ever downtown on the weekends. I think a lot of stuff is open there super late. Restaurants will close around 10. But yeah, I think the biggest thing I've really enjoyed have been the convenience stores. Pyeongjam?
Yeah, Pyeongjam.
Pyeongjams are open all the time, and I didn't have any of those.
They're 24 hours, right?
Mostly,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
And in my neighborhood, I had 2, but they both closed because they were just mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
So they closed by 7 or 8 at the latest.
Oh,
and so,
okay. Pretty early.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which area of you live in Seoul or in
Yes. Yeongdeungpo?
Yeongdeungpo?
Yeah.
Oh. Why did you choose that place?
I found an apartment building that was fully furnished. All
And that's
inclusive.
it?
Yeah. I just, I had thought about trying to find, so I came here to an Airbnb. So my plan was stay in an Airbnb for a month and actually be here to look for a place. And then I kind of forgot I am someone who likes to be settled quickly. And so I got here 10 days before classes started. Within those 10 days, I was just running all over trying to find an actual place to live so I could ideally move in before. And right now my plan is to only be here for a year. So kind of weighing costs and convenience and things like that. I found this building and it's fully furnished. It's got, what do you call them? Social areas in the basement.
Like community shared living space or shared communal space.
Yeah, so there's a gym, there's a movie theater area that you can rent out, there's study areas. So even though I'm in
Co-living.
Oh, you
Right?
live in a co-living
Sure.
space.
How many other units are there?
there's 14 floors.
Yeah. I think it's like one of the co-living spaces.
It's a pretty experimental type of living in Korea.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was kind of on the rise because more people, wanted to live on their own, maybe not with their parents, even
Yeah.
if they're not married or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So cool.
Yeah.
But furnished I didn't know there were furnished places.
Yeah, this place feels more like a hotel because I moved in and I found out they cleaned my apartment once a week.
Oh, I heard that too.
I said,
Yeah.
"Bet." I was about to go buy cleaning supplies and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I'm living my best life right now.
Do you want to share for the listeners maybe? Because I think, again, a lot of people might be interested. Again, completely up to you and we can cut it out too.
Yeah.
But how much are you paying? How big's the space?
Yeah, I pay 1.6 million a month. It's like this from probably this size.
It's like a one bed though?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
a one
okay.
bed. I have a small kitchen that in a bar area behind. It's got a desk. It's got a small table with 2 chairs. Bathroom. Baljang?
Oh, shoe
shoe
closet.
shoe
Shoe
closet.
rack.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The bathroom's really nice. It's the biggest shower I've ever had in my life.
It's probably the smallest apartment you ever lived in.
It is the smallest apartment I've ever lived in. But like, it's also nice because again, the shared spaces.
Yeah.
So I can go down to the basement and study down there. There's a coffee shop on the first floor. I'm right off a subway exit.
Oh, so
And
convenient.
so
Yeah. Amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
Your place sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I stumbled upon. I had trying to find a place. Would go on YouTube and watch apartment tours, and then I would message on the video and be like, "How did you find your place?" So
Yeah.
I had a couple of apps, and then someone suggested a couple of Facebook groups, and so this building is new. They renovated it last December, and so they're
Nice.
still trying to fill the units. So I gotta right now. They always say it's a deal, and I'm like, how much is it actually a deal? But they're saying the apartment I got is half off. So I guess they'll double the price.
Sounds like it. Because
Once
when you
they-
say 1.6
But
million,
what was your initial reaction to that?
it's very cheaper than I
Oh,
thought.
okay.
Okay.
Because it's Yeongdeungpo, and then it's new,
And
Yeah.
furnished.
and then it's like a co-living space. Usually are more on the expensive side. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you have a
I had no
gym
idea.
and a movie theater or whatever.
Yeah.
Cleaning service.
Yeah, I was like, that was worth it. I didn't even know it was a perk, but once I found that out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible.
How foreigner friendly is that building? Do you
Very.
see- Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
see.
everything is in Korean and in English.
Nice.
They had realtors, I guess, for lack of a better term, that speak, I think, 3 different languages. So when I signed up to tour, I told them what language I preferred. And so that was the agent that met me. They have an app. So even for the fireworks tomorrow, they're doing a barbecue on the rooftop so we can watch the
That's
fireworks.
cool, yeah.
So it was kind of like a first come, first serve.
I want to live there.
Honestly, I'm not lying, it was great. It's been great so far. So
Yeah.
they did they're hosting community events every once in a while. They are doing a dumpling making class. So down in the basement, they've got a commercial kitchen
Yeah.
that you can use if you're bringing like a lot of friends over, or they'll hold cooking classes. And so,
Is it exclusively foreigners then? Or are there Korean
no, I've
people?
seen a few
Koreans?
Koreans, and then when I'm down in because again the building's still new, so they give a lot of tours,
Yeah.
and so I will hear a lot of tours being given in Korean.
Whoa.
So,
Do you know your neighbors? Have you met any neighbors or befriended people yet?
I have only run into one neighbor so far, and I was not in a talkative mood that day.
got
I'm
it.
actually an introvert. That is one of the things I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy about Korean culture
Yeah.
is I can just get on the subway
no one's gonna talk to
don't
you.
have to talk to anybody. Right? I may get a lot of stares, but nobody's gonna talk to me,
Yeah.
and I'm down for it. So, yeah. Other than that, most people live on higher floors, and so as I'm leaving the elevator, a lot of times they'll say, "Have a good night" or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But we'll see. I'm going to this community event because I'm like, I probably should get to know
Make
people in
some
my
friends,
building. Yeah, whatever. Ugh.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you can see the fireworks from your rooftop,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
amazing.
you can see the park from our rooftop.
Crazy.
So you have a
Hangang view. Hangang view.
You have a Hangang view?
Yeah, no, Yeongdeungpo Park.
Yeah.
Yeongdeungpo Park
Oh.
is you can like see parts of the park
Oh.
from our apartment building. So I think we're like on the
Very
edge
nice.
of like Yeongdeungpo. And
I had no sense for like what apartment prices were like in Korea,
Mm-hmm.
but now that I think about it, it sounds on the cheaper end, yeah, from what I was expecting. Because people always complain about Seoul real estate prices, and I
Yeah.
do know roughly, right, New York, San Francisco, those prices. And for what you're getting, it sounds like you're getting a great deal. So.
Yeah, I am so thankful. And they had a unit that was available the first day that classes started.
Oh, so perfect. Like the
So I was
timing.
like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. So
Yeah.
I said, can I move in on the first? And the guy was like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll send you So I went to classes. I went back to my Airbnb. I put everything in my suitcase, and then I was in my new place. And fabulous.
Rachel, now that you're here then, what's your day-to-day like? I know you're in language classes, but curious if you could talk about that and also beyond that, how you're spending your time.
Yeah. So I'm taking language courses at Yonsei through their Korean language Institute.
Is it 어학당?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm in classes for 4 hours a day, classes from 9 to 1, where we do 2 hours of grammar and vocab, an hour of reading and speaking, an hour of listening and writing.
Wow, yeah.
It
That's
all kind of
intense.
blends together in the sense I'm in level 1, so I started supposedly at the easiest level. Somehow everyone in my class already speaks Korean now. So I'm about the only one that doesn't.
Yeah.
So I spend 90% of the class kind of confused. I write a lot of notes. The teaching is probably 90% in Korean as well. And so after class, I will oftentimes come home or grab lunch with people and then study. This is where I think I feel my age a little bit more because most everyone there is younger. And so our homework isn't hard yet, right? We're in level 1. But I spend probably 3 or 4 hours reviewing, going back over the vocab, things like that.
They're just going out and having a good time.
Oh yeah. They just have fun. Or I remember like the second week, 2 girls that became friends, they did a sleepover, and the teacher was like, "What did you do?" And they're like, "Oh, we just talked." And she was like, "In Korean?" And they said, "Yeah, the whole time."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" Okay, cool, great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think right now this first month has just been a lot of just trying to keep my head above water because we move at a pretty fast pace. So we get every other day new vocab, and each chapter is about 75 words.
Ooh.
And then the professors add more
Yeah.
just because of the conversations we're having. And so my Quizlet is probably 800 words right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Just finished week 4 of classes. So
Your Korean will, if it isn't already better than mine, will surpass mine in months. Yeah.
we'll see. It's one of those where I'm like, I just am hoping to pass level 1 at this
Yeah.
point. And then obviously it's going to take some time. So that's why I just tell myself to prep. And
How did you get to choose Yonsei? Because I hear that I heard so many things about Yonsei 어학당. Is it like the only 어학당 in Korea, or
No, there's
So
so
many
many.
now.
Probably
Yeah.
the most famous one, though, right?
Yes, I think it was one of the first, if not the first, in Korea. Also, part of the reason I chose it was when I came last summer with the choir, the very first college, they sang at a couple churches, but then we also sang at some colleges. Yonsei was the first college they sang at. And so we walked around the campus, and I just thought it was really beautiful. And
It's known to have a beautiful campus, right?
I think so.
In my mind. I
Yeah.
haven't visited many, but
I
yeah.
think I've only been there once.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there obviously. I think the part you see in all the advertisements and stuff, the older part of the university that's in a lot of dramas, is on the other side of campus. So our Korean language building is a newer building and stuff. But
I think a lot of foreigners who became like semi-celebrities here in Korea are from Yonsei
Oh,
Oakdam.
oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, I've heard it's also one of the more rigorous ones. So yeah, Yonsei, SNU, and Korea University, they all have them. So I had looked at all three of those universities and applied to two, but Yongsei's was the easiest to get into. Korea University wanted to know proof of what I've been doing for the 10 plus years I wasn't in school. So I was like, I don't.
Dang. It's like
I
a
don't-
job interview.
Yeah, well, and I learned a lot about paper. There's so much paperwork I had to do because
Yeah.
I'm on a student visa since I'm staying past 6 months or past 3 months, and so to collect all of that paperwork was not as clear as I thought it was going to be, and so I was like, yeah, Yonsei is good, and I don't fully know what I want to do after this with Korean, but I figured I would rather learn the more academic, the more rigorous parts of Korean, and then from there it's like if I want to speak, if I want to like a jokes about, but low-key maybe serious about writing Korean dramas. I like when I lived in LA, I enjoyed writing movies and TV shows and stuff that will never see the light of day, but it was fun for
Yeah,
me. And
yeah.
so I was like, it probably will be helpful to have a very good grasp on the language grammatically. Yonsei will do that for me.
Someone said that, like, I forgot who it was, but if you're creative, they challenged you every morning, do something, and then rip it up and throw it away. Because it's not about the outcome, it's about the process.
Like doing it,
And just,
yeah.
getting into that practice. But that's a tangent.
Yeah.
One thing that surprised me was you said in your language class, you're the only American.
Yes.
So maybe I'm just curious, and I think our listeners might be too, what's the demographics of your class and, where are people coming from to learn Korean?
Yeah. So my class is actually pretty diverse. I think I expected more Americans, but we have our highest demographic is German. We have 2 Germans in the class. We have a student from China, Hong Kong, Myanmar, Taiwan, Japan, and then a girl who is Korean, but her mom is Taiwanese. And so I think she grew up mostly in Taiwan, but now her family's here. So she's learning the language. So one lady in my class, she is Japanese, but she's married to a Korean, but neither of them speak each other's languages. They met in another country
Love
and
is
only,
love, man.
only speak English to each other. She's like, but our English isn't great either. So now she's learning Korean.
Yeah.
So like, because I guess she was like, he tried to learn some Japanese, but it was really hard. And they're living here now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually know a few couples like that.
Really?
It always surprises me. I'm like,
Yeah.
how did you guys even fall in love and get married, start a family?
Yeah.
When you don't have a common language that is strong for both.
Yeah.
But I've heard that before.
Yeah, I've heard it. I always joke communication is my love language. So
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, that doesn't feel possible. But good for you, I guess.
I guess the Oakdang, they try to maintain that diversity when they're admitting
Oh, interesting.
students, right?
Why? So they you can't converse
It
in
can't
your
be a
native language.
coincidence, I guess.
That it's so diverse.
yeah, having only one American.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
thought about that.
Yeah, maybe so. I do know. So I went to a couple of the Talk to Me in Korean meetups when I first moved here, and I've met 3 or 4 other Germans, and they were talking about how Korean is growing in Germany at an
interesting.
exponential rate, and so yeah, there's a lot of that. I think I have a friend. She's from England. She's in a different level, but in her class, there's also a couple of students. They're Korean Russian, so they grew up in Russia.
Oh.
So they're coming to learn Korean. So there's apparently a lot of Russian speakers
Yeah.
in the school as well.
How many levels are there?
6.
So do you advance to the next level after you're done with the course, or?
If you pass the test, so there's a midterm, which we'll have like right after the Chuseok holiday.
Yeah.
And then there's a final, and you have to pass with a certain percentage. And the way Yonsei does it is if you don't pass, you get to retake the level, but you can only retake a level once.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
you're removed from the school.
That's hardcore.
So
Jeez.
yeah.
They're
So I told my
serious.
family, I was like, I may be home after 6 months. Like I thought I was staying for a year, but at this rate,
Yeah.
who knows? Because each course is about 10 weeks long,
Yeah.
and so I was like, 6
Man.
months in, we'll know.
That's intense, yeah.
But if level 1 students are conversing together all night in Korean, what are the level 6 students are doing?
I have no idea.
Wait, I just had a thought though. Maybe they're Yonsei students and they're doing this to fulfill like a credit or something like that.
So there's different classes.
Okay,
so
okay.
I think what happened, why I am in the class I'm in,
Yeah.
is I think I gave a really good and misleading performance in my interview test.
I've seen you speak
Because-
Korean on your socials. You're not bad.
Yeah. Well, so those were like, I had to think about what I said. I practiced a couple times before I made the video.
Yeah.
And so I did that I did research of like, what kind of questions do they ask? So I kind of prepared some answers. And I think they do kind of group your class by how you speak. And so a lot of people in my class, they have a lot of vocab. So they do a lot of speaking. I don't have the vocab, but they don't understand the grammar concepts as much. For me, it's like the grammar makes sense, but I don't have the vocab to then use the grammar. So somehow we all ended up in the same class, and I'm like,
June, this is why I don't try to learn Korean. It sounds, I would also definitely fail out after the first midterm. Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. To be fair, I'm like, I chose this, and so I'm like, every day's a new day. That's why, some nights I cry myself to sleep as I'm doing homework, and then I'm like, tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to class, and we have fun. I was able to make a joke in class the other day, so I was like, okay.
You're joking already in
I
Korean?
think I understood. Well,
That's very sophisticated.
no, it was not. It was not sophisticated. We were supposed to name a holiday from our country because we're learning dates, how to say dates, and so I gave them my birthday. My teacher was like, "Oh, what holiday is that?" And I was like, "It's my birthday." So that was literally the joke. Not funny at all.
Let's see. I'm curious. Oh, anything you want to ask?
Oh, I just wanted to ask about the area of where you live and where your Oakdang is. First of all, I think Yonsei, that area is called, right? It's very lively college area adjacent to Hongdae, which is probably famous amongst foreigners. What did you feel about the vibe and the atmosphere of that area?
Yeah, I don't mind it. So I'm a night owl, but I'm a homebody. So my Airbnb, actually, when I first came, was in Sinchon, like right in the area. I would go to dinner and then I would just go back to my room and like stay up late writing and things like that. Every once in a while, I'm like, I'm down to hang out and party and do things like that. But I've told friends and people in my class, you have to keep me out past midnight. 8 to 11, I'm the worst person
You
ever
fade.
because I really just want to be home.
Community second win, yeah.
Ooh, but midnight, you keep me out past midnight, I'm out. And I'm having fun.
Yeah.
But also, I'm like, I don't know. I also don't love people. So,
We didn't ask you your Korean scale.
yeah.
+1 Korean points.
Or your MBTI.
Yeah.
What about Yeongdeungpo though?
It's definitely a more chill vibe from what I can tell. So Sinchon, it came alive every night.
Yeah.
People are everywhere. So again, I was like, I'm in my room. Like I'm not trying to hang out a ton.
It's more of a business district, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
Yeah.
Yeouido, that area.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I see people, but again, they seem to be headed to somewhere specifically where I feel like when I was in Sinchon, a lot of people were out in the streets and they're talking
hanging
and they're
out.
smoking and whatever. And people, in the Yeongdeungpo area. I'm also not in. I met up with a friend who was like in the heart of Yeongdeungpo, and I was like, oh, it was very lit up, very busy. That's not my area at all. My area is very chill. Not a lot of people are out late at night in the streets.
I know you've only been here for a month, but have you had a chance to look around different areas of Seoul?
Not really.
Not-
Yeah, again, my problem is I'm a homebody. So I'm trying to figure out the balance. The Yonsei Korean games were this past weekend. So
연고전.
yeah.
Wait, what is this?
It's like the famous Korean college rivalry.
Oh, the basketball, like
Basketball and everything.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the Shincheon area becomes like a crazy party scene. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to, they had the cheering event the week before. I did go to that.
Yeah.
And so it was half the stadium was Korea University, the other half was Yonsei University. And it was just, it was, I thought, going to be an hour and a half of just cheering. And it was in the rain, right? It's pouring at one point. It was 4 hours.
4 hours long.
I said, your girl's old. So I was with some friends. We
Yeah.
made it about 2.5 hours
Yeah.
in. And it was 2.5 hours of just headbanging. I've also never headbanged that much. I was shocked. You put your arms around everybody
Yeah.
around you and you just do that for 4 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Both of the schools have very specific like movements
Yeah.
of like cheering and the songs. Like,
This is not how you explained it to me last time. Because I think you told me before they have a big college rivalry.
yeah.
And so it's like, oh, when there's the basketball game, it's very heated. But this is like an event. It's like, what, a week long, both colleges across every different thing.
Yeah.
Like sports, cheering, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So apparently the cheer night, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I like bought Yonsei gear, and you show up in your blue and you cheer, and then, but I didn't go to the games. I was peopled out
Yeah.
last weekend,
Yeah.
and so I was supposed to go to a couple games and called my friends and said, I am just gonna, and I stayed in my room the whole day, and I didn't talk to a single person, and it was fabulous.
Yeah.
Yonsei people call it 연고전, and but 고려대 people call it
고연전.
고연전.
Yeah.
So petty.
Yep.
Anyway, we could talk about that more. But I think we have to move on. Rachel, what's been maybe the most different compared to expectations thing about moving to Korea and living here now after your first month?
Yeah. Ooh. Probably the most different, or maybe the most jarring, if I'm being honest, is the staring. So I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And when I came last year, but I didn't realize the safety there was in a large group, and then also my mindset, right? I was like, we were a choir in a group of 50 people, clearly from America. Like 90% of that group were white college students. So I was like, of course people are gonna stare, but also being a chaperone, I wasn't as aware of my surroundings. I was following the choir director and then making sure all the kids are where they're supposed to be. And so there was a lot that I missed. Really, the only downtime was when the kids were singing. And so I knew, though, coming, I think I was telling Daniel, anytime I go to a new country, I always Google, like, what is kind of the reception to Black people at that country, just so I'm aware, right? And so when I came this time, I had pink hair last year, and then I just put in pink hair again, because I was like, I know people are going to stare, so I'll just give them something to stare at, why not?
I was going to say, it's not just being
No. I'm literally.
But your hair is very loud, too.
It's very loud. I did it on purpose, but I think in my mind I was like, people would stare in America and be like, oh, pink hair, but like it's literally that kind of look, like, oh, pink hair, and they move on.
Yeah.
But here it's like sometimes, not all the time, but I'll say sometimes it's an othering stare is kind of the best way I can describe it, of just fascination, but it doesn't always feel like a positive fascination, and they don't back down. So they just keep staring.
Like if you make eye contact,
they just keep staring. So now I just smile. That's like my goal. But I will also say, I also am realizing it's not just Koreans, because I was in Yeongdeungpo 2 weeks ago, just shopping around, and I was getting so many stares. But then I also was listening to the languages around me, and I was like, most of the people staring aren't Korean. Like, they're not speaking Korean to one another. And so I was like, yeah. So I think that at times has been jarring, where it's like, if I go out, I have to be like, all right, I know I'm going to get a lot of looks. And so I either have to choose not to care, or like just accept it and then be like, okay, today I'm just going to smile at everyone. Or other days I'm like, I have my noise canceling headphones, and so I just put those on and be on my phone. I'm like, people can do what they're going to do. And
That is in very stark contrast to my experience being here, which is going from being a minority in the US to now being like I can fit in, right? And maybe they can tell by how I dress or how I look, if I have facial hair. But by and large, people can't tell I'm not native Korean. And I love it. It is so wonderful to just blend in, be invisible.
Yeah.
Because at least my experience in the US, even in kind of Asian areas, I'm always aware of my race.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, something you can kind of, you understand too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway. Yeah.
I had a pretty similar experience when I traveled to Egypt. And that was like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so there weren't a lot of Asian people traveling to Egypt back then. So every time me and my friend walk down the street, they all...
Stairs.
It's not only stairs, they want to talk to us.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely can feel you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's pros and cons to it as well, because I would say majority of my life I've been in spaces where I am probably the first real Black person somebody has met, where it's not on a TV screen or it's not in passing. And so I feel like one of the privileges I get in my life is to allow people to get to know Black people as a real person. And so even in class the other day, one of the girls was asking about my hair, and she was like, "Is that okay?" I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." Like I've grown up my whole life answering questions about it, and
Can I touch it?
yeah, or just like, how do you do it? Like, is it your real hair? Like all that. And so, but for me, I see it as a privilege, right? Sometimes there's every privilege comes with some burdens or some difficulties, but it's still a privilege. And so I was aware in coming in that it would be the same here.
That's such a good perspective. I mean, before you said that, I was like, what pro could there possibly be to being stared at or whatever? But yeah, it's a privilege. I mean, I've never felt that way whenever I feel singled out or stared at or whatever, but I think that's a very healthy perspective, and I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah.
I think there's a very particular view towards Black people from Koreans, and it's not, I want to say it's mostly admiration.
Okay.
Because of like, this could also come off racist, but for Korean people, like the stereotypical image of a Black person is like they're really good at sports and they're really good at singing and all that. And a lot of the things that Korean people admire towards. So I think there's a level of admiration and like, of course, like the foreignness, because you don't see a lot of Black people in Korea. So I think all of those combined make up like that view or perception towards Black people.
Yeah.
There's this word, also a racist word, kind of, but it's like kind of like honoring Black people in Korean. It's called 흑형. Do you know what that means?
Oh, you've mentioned this
It's
before.
like Black brother.
Okay.
And like calling
Kyung,
someone
like
Kyung,
older
like
brother.
older brother means like I respect you, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is also kind of racist.
You know, I will say this, like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I think the same anywhere I go,
Yeah.
right? I remember I went to Peru one time on a missions trip, and I started singing, and kids were just in awe. And I was like, I am not a good singer, but simply people will just hear something different because of the way that I look, which sometimes is an advantage. I cannot play sports at all. I'm a creative girl through and through. And so I have also had that where growing up, if I was with a new group of people and we're playing, especially basketball, right? Oh, we want Rachel.
Yeah, first pick.
I was like, you do not want me. You do not want me. And they wouldn't believe me. They thought I was like being humble. And then I would start playing and they're like,
Oh, yeah.
you can just sit on the bench. I said, yes, thank you. That's where I want to be. I didn't ask to play. I'm just trying to be social.
I'm curious then, in the US, I know now you said you have a lot of very diverse friend group, which I want to talk about more. But what was your first experience, let's say, with Asian culture or getting to really know Asian culture? Where I'm coming from is, I think, at least where I grew up in Maryland, Black and Asian culture felt very like, all Koreans kind of wanted to be Black in a sense, right? We listened to Black music, we dressed Black, we played basketball. That was kind of our culture, at least. And I'm curious what your perspective was on the other side.
Yeah, so my first experience was with my friend Jenna, who was half Japanese. And I would say in her home was fairly Japanese. So her grandmother lived with them and then her dad. And that was, I think I learned a lot of concepts with like collectivism and high context and all of that without realizing it. And in my arrogance, I would say, I very much tried to make her more like me. So I remember in college, I took intercultural communications class, and a lot of the studies, at least from the American side, that have been done were Americans with Japanese companies, because there was a lot of overlap, and then IBM had offices, and so they did a lot of research then. And so the books that we read were a lot about the difference between Japanese culture and American culture. And I called her and apologized because I was like, I was a terrible friend. I just assumed that, right, I made certain assumptions, especially I think too, growing up in a Black home where strength looks a very specific way, and being loud and opinionated but also respectful, right? But the way in which we expressed ourselves was very different than Japanese culture. And so I think that was kind of my first understanding of how you sacrifice. I remember we danced together, and we did a senior recital to graduate from the dance school, and Jenna wanted to dance to a song that was her dad's favorite song, but she didn't love it. And I was like, girl, do what you want. Like, why do you care what your dad wants? Like, it does not matter. And she was like, I want to honor and I want to respect him in this way. And I was like, that makes no sense. Like, that just, but then later I was like, actually, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm really sorry that I just assumed that the way that so I would say my first, to get back to the point, my first foray, I think I just made a lot of assumptions that because it was different, it was wrong. And then probably not really again until I started watching Korean dramas in 2015 that I started understanding more culture. And then really Chicago, I think, would be where I think living with my roommate really opened my eyes, even just to see the comments. Right, we went to the same church of mostly minorities, but even the comments she would get, because Latino and Black culture is very westernized, and so the difference between the two, and a lot of people didn't understand things that she would say and make it out to be bad. And I was like, it's not bad, it's different. And honestly, there's a lot of beauty in that difference that you're missing out on because you're making assumptions. And so I think that really opened my eyes to just be like, you know what? We can learn a lot, America, in our westernized minds, right? Like,
I think that's very wise. Yeah, just because it's different, it's not wrong. It's different.
Yeah. Also, I realized this is a side tangent, but I'll make it quick. I was watching a drama last night. I have a friend that lives in Busan that I messaged, and because of the drama, I had a question. We got into the whole conversation of how Americans and Koreans use their hands non-verbally, because in the drama they said "kol."
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're like "kol" or "kol," and I was like, "Wait, is that your version?" Because in the subtitles they wrote "deal," and I was like, "Is that how you
say bet?"
Yeah, and she was like, "Yeah," and I said, "Oh, interesting."
Yeah.
And then I was like, if I were to say "deal," I'd probably be like, "Deal," like cool, okay. And she was like, "Oh, we use thumbs up for like good job, okay." And I was like, "Oh, that's not." So we went on this whole tangent of like the differences of using hand gestures.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
So, core. You do a little like hand flick.
I don't know if this is
It's like gotcha. I don't.
Not really?
necessarily associated with this hand gesture, but core, it comes from the poker term
Like I call.
that I call
Like-
I agree. Yeah.
I still think it's a hybrid of that and like cool. Like I'll cool down good, but
No.
Jim saying no. He said absolutely not. No. I love it. I was like, yeah, and then
because
she was showing
Koreans don't know poker. Why would this thing make it into the vernacular if Koreans don't know poker?
They do know poker.
Do
I think.
they?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit. Yeah.
Core.
Yeah.
I call.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so we were talking about thumbs up, like when you type in okay or something.
Yeah.
Versus, I was like, this is my gift board. It's all thumbs up. Like, anyways, I digress. Okay, so.
But Americans will use the like, Shooter McGavin, like.
Yeah, but I was like, mostly to be silly. Like, we're not being like, deal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, gotcha.
I'd agree.
Yeah. I did that in audition once, and I was like, wait, what?
What am I doing?
Yeah, because I was just nervous, and I went.
Where does that come from?
I'm so sorry. Erase that from your memories. I cannot believe I did that.
That is true. I don't think I've ever actually like used this not in like a joking way.
Yeah. I don't know. This is more just like we can really cut this because I just was thinking, what's the natural side of the sidewalk to walk on? Is it the left or the right?
This has changed, right? I think you told me it changed at one
Ah.
point, which is why there's some confusion.
Yeah, this goes back to like the Japanese era,
Okay.
because I think in Japan it's 좌측통행, which means that you have to walk on the left side.
Okay.
And I think it has to do with the car directions, because Japan, like their cars are
Everything's
on the other
flipped
side.
too, yeah.
Okay.
So while growing up, it was always 좌측통행 in school. They always educated us you have to walk on the left. But then from a certain point, they flipped it, and now it's the other side.
Okay.
So it's naturally 우측통행, but it's not like a rule. Sometimes they would ask you to walk on the left side. So
really?
there's not like a very strict rule, but I think rule of thumb is you walk on the right side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know sometimes there's a couple of subways where they'll direct traffic and it's on the right. But I've had a hilarious amount of encounters just on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And so I end up bobbing and weaving because I'm like, do I go to the right? But then they come to the right and then I like try to go to the left. But then other people are coming and they're on the left side. So it's just like,
I don't think there's a social construct though. It's
Okay,
just
just-
it's a 눈치.
okay.
Case by case, you just
Yeah.
have to see where they're leaning.
Yeah.
I haven't mastered that niche yet. We're getting there. I think it's in the eyes, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then so I take public transit every morning, and my understanding was the rule of thumb is you do not sit in the pregnant seats and you do not sit in the seats for the elderly. Period. Full stop. But-
Even if there's no one around and they're empty.
Okay.
Yeah.
But being on the buses lately, in the mornings, it's mostly like people headed to work, and I will go and stand, and then I'll notice young people will just sit. And I'm assuming if somebody elderly or pregnant comes
They'll
on,
get up.
they'll get up. But also like from some middle-aged people too. I will just never do it because I know I'm a foreigner, and I'm like, I've been told, and I will not make an assumption. But I
Yeah.
didn't know if that's becoming more common or.
That is a very good question. And I think a lot of Korean people are confused with that as well. I think the deal with buses is that I hate the fact that like basically 90% of the seats are either for the elderly.
Really are.
Yeah.
They really are.
So it's like, where am I
Yeah.
supposed to sit, right? So I think because of the fact that most of the seats are like that, I think some people sort of like kind of just sit there.
Okay.
Right? Because in the subway, there are only one or two. So it's very easy to just leave it empty.
Yeah.
But in the bus, like there's no
Yeah.
other way.
The middle,
Yeah.
entire middle part of the bus is like for disabled and elderly.
But I think a good way to do that is that you always have to be aware whether like an older person or a pregnant person comes in the bus, and then you'll have to,
give up,
Yeah,
yield,
give up your
yield your
seat.
seat
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a little self-conscious because I'll come on and all the seats are filled except for those. So then I'll just go stand. And then like the
Someone
next
else will
stop,
come in and
somebody,
take your
just
seat,
like
yeah.
take it. And I was like, do I look like the idiot?
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't care that much, but
I think it's very tricky. Yeah. So it's very valid that this is very confusing to you.
yeah. Okay, cool. I'm just trying to bob and weave.
confusing
and
to
know
me
when
too.
Okay, good to know.
I would just sit, I think, yeah. If
Yeah,
I
I
thought
think it's
about it,
fine,
I think
yeah.
I would just sit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, I have the benefit of just being able to blend in.
Yeah. There's level.
not
I don't
gonna-
know. Maybe I'll try it as like a social experiment
Yeah.
and just see what
What happens?
may never do it again, but
Oh,
Yeah, those
these
are my
questions are fun. Yeah. Oh, that's it?
well, I don't know. Hold on, let me look. I made a whole lot of. Oh, I wrote this when I first got here because I got national alerts at
Oh,
least once a
yeah,
day,
yeah.
but I think a lot of it had to do with the heat because it has definitely slowed down.
If I could run a government survey, June, I haven't told you this yet, I would want to see if there's correlation between when those alerts go out and car accidents.
Oh.
Because they take up your entire, they pop over your Navi.
Yeah.
And then you have to like dismiss it. And every time I do it, I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. Like I guarantee you all these alerts. And they've been sending them out for all sorts of things like
Yeah.
missing persons,
Yeah.
elderly.
It
It's
used to
getting
not
to be
be
a
like
lot.
that, but I think it happened during COVID.
I know,
where
but
they-
now
they had to do like the national broadcast or whatever. Now
Contact tracing and stuff,
now
yeah.
they do it for whatever, like missing people, whatever, the heat, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
that missing person one I felt a little bit like, did that need to go to every single person in the city?
You never know. Listen, you might have been the person.
No, trust me. I'm like, if it was my grandfather, I'd appreciate it. It was like missing 72-year-old, blah, 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 looks like this. Last scene here, I'm like, did you really need to alert? Anyway.
That's hilarious. What? Oh, hold on. Oh, this is more of like a Nunchi question because I don't have it yet. Nunchi, hope so.
Don't look at me,
I'm working on getting it. I went to a coffee shop that was in my building and they were closing, but I was working and they were like, oh, you can just stay. But they were like turning out some of the lights, but not all of them because I guess on the second floor, so it's like a coffee shop on the first floor, a bar on the second floor, and they were having an event at the bar on the second floor. But I had a moment where I was like, should I have just left? Because, right, I think a lot of times with high context, you can say one thing, but you have to read the layers underneath. And I was like, am I just, but in my American mind, I'm like, I'm gonna trust what you say. Yeah. So I'm working to like get rid of that. But I was like, I don't know, would you have stayed? This is my question.
Did they turn off, partially did they turn off the lights and stuff?
They turned off some of them, but not
they
all.
wanted you to leave.
Okay. I knew it.
Oh, I was going to say the other. See, this is where I don't have it either. Because I would have been like, well, if they want you to leave, actually my experience is they're getting more and more straightforward. I think they would have said like, oh, we're closing, you have to go in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But they didn't say that, so I was like, oh.
Well, they were like...
I mean, it's like they're okay that you're there, but they would prefer if you leave.
Oh, for sure. I got it. Yeah.
I had that moment where I was like, I feel like I should leave. Yeah. But I was right in the middle of I was like, I just need to finish this thing. And then they turned out part of the lights and they came over and like, you don't have to leave. And I was like, I feel like this is a clue that you want me to leave. But then I was like, I'll just finish. And I ended up staying for like another 20 minutes. Oh. And then after I left, I was like, I think I should have just left.
There's another similar cue in restaurants. If they want you to leave, they would come and take your place
away.
Okay, so that did happen one time. I was eating with a friend and we were just chatting. It was right after the cheering game. Yeah. So we're wet and so we're trying to dry and finally they were like, are you done? And I said, yep, that's our cue. Thank you so much. And of course, terrible. We looked up, we had been there for 3 hours and I just... I said, yeah, you're right. That was my bad.
I feel like I finally learned that, Nunchi. Yeah. Like especially if it's crowded at all.
You don't crowded though.
But even so, you don't just like sit and talk. You get up, go to a cafe, and like start over in a sense with your new order.
Okay.
Icha. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm very like I think I'm almost extreme. And when my friends visit from the U.S. too, I think they're maybe a bit surprised too. Yeah. It's like as soon as we're done eating, I'm like, okay, let's go. Like, we gotta go. They're waiting, or we can't sit here.
Nah, I'm like, let's laugh.
3 hours. That's a long time, yeah.
Oh, that's nothing. I've literally been at restaurants for 5 hours before. Just because you're in like a deep conversation.
No, I know.
But
I question you as an introvert.
I'm right on the line. Yeah. If I'm with people that I like and trust, I will be introverted, or like extroverted. But I don't love people. I love them because people are important, but like if I have to choose to be in a crowd of people all the time, I'm
similar though. I like one-on-one, but I don't like big groups.
Yeah.
I just kind of don't say anything and fade into the back.
Yeah.
Interesting. For the same reason I like big groups. Because I can fade into the back.
So you can fade.
No, but you got to talk to all the people and small talk and just...
Oh, interesting. I think those questions are all very valid and very interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Rachel, so you've already been here 1 month.
Yes.
Time's flying by. For your sake, I hope you study a little bit less and get out a little bit more. It goes fast, trust me. Like I intended to be here 2 years. It's already been 4 going on 5.
Wow, so okay.
It goes by fast and it's hard to leave in a lot of ways. But just I don't want you to miss your architectural tour in Chicago. What's on your bucket list of things that you really want to do before you leave Korea?
Yeah.
And please just get on it because this year's going to go by so quick. I promise you.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the weather to cool down a little bit more, but I do want to try hiking some of the mountains. Everyone talks about how nice that is. And I did a little bit of hiking when I lived in LA, like recreational, not hardcore. And then I want to visit some of the smaller towns. You guys were talking about how each town is kind of known for its food. And so I wanted to do some research and then go and try and order. I think my fear right now is that my Korean is not good. And then buroyo, I'm saying that right? Like I get
부끄러워요?
I get really nervous, and so then I forget everything. So in that sense, I wanted to wait a little bit till maybe my Korean's a little bit better to go. But yeah, those are I really want to explore the whole country. I've spent a lot of time in Seoul, and then when the choir came again, I forget the city, but we were like an hour outside of Busan. So I want to go to smaller places on like the weekends and stuff. But that means I have to be with people. So, so therein lies the kind of the tension.
June, what cities would you recommend Rachel visit?
For food, I definitely would recommend the Jeollado area, which is the southern southwest.
Okay.
Yeah, that area is all very famous for food. Mokpo would be one small area that you would want to see there. Tongyeong is not Jeollado, it's Gyeongsangdo. It's on the southern east part of Korea. It's where
It's near Busan, right?
It's where our friend Sei lives.
Sei lives, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, he doesn't live there.
He lived there
anymore.
before.
Yeah. Tongyeong is another place that they're very famous for their oysters.
Ooh.
But that's not far from Busan, if I'm not mistaken.
Not that far.
Yeah, then but Jeollado is much further. Like
Okay.
you can't just like it's not a quick hop from Busan. It like literally splits. If you're coming from Seoul, you either go to Busan or you go to Jeolla. Is what my feeling is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, you should visit Jeju-do. Jeju-do is obviously always very beautiful, especially I think during when the weather is good. It's going to be amazing. You can also hike there. Their famous Halla-san. So you can, do it all together. Yeah.
Amazing.
There's a really popular, recently culturally popular place. Is it Gwangju?
Gwangju.
I forget. Okay, never mind.
Oh, Gyeongju? Gyeongju.
Is it Gyeongju?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, it's super popular right now.
Okay.
I don't know why. But it's blowing up. Yeah.
Nice.
Gyeongju it's like an old capital of Korea.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
People say it's awesome. I want to go.
Nice.
I haven't been yet.
It's near my hometown, Daegu.
Okay.
You don't have to visit
You
Daegu.
don't
No, we were learning cities and we had to write down where's the place you want to visit in our class. And I literally said Daegu and our teacher said why. And I was like,
Why?
a podcast I listened to, the guy is from there. I was like, I don't know any other of the cities that you listed. I was like, that was the only one that was familiar.
Oh, thank you.
So, you're welcome. So in Korean, I literally wrote a sentence about how I want to go to Daegu.
You can
You can just go as a joke.
Done.
But Gyeongju is close to Daegu, so
Okay.
yeah, as a detour maybe. Yeah.
Gyeongju, I do think that's one of the. If you visit Busan, you can just do like a short train to get to Gyeongju, and I heard it's just like history, culture, food, everything's great there.
Nice. Yeah. It's great because we have in between sessions, like 2 to 3 weeks. So my plan is to try and do a lot of my traveling then outside of Seoul.
Cool. Nothing else? I mean, like
I mean, what should I do?
K-drama
Like-
tours, like baseball games are popular.
Oh, I do want to do baseball
Baseball.
games.
Or like
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I've had a lot of really good food. K-dramas, I will recognize the place when I see them and I get
Yeah.
really excited. So when I came the first year, I saw quite a few places and I would send my roommate and I every Sunday we would watch like a couple hours of a drama. And so I would send her pictures and she was like, what is this from? So I realized other people don't really get excited.
Remember them.
And so I'll go visit places, but it's more of like if I run past it, I'll
I
be
see.
like, oh, wait, this is okay, cool. And then I move on.
I don't know what are other people's bucket lists.
Do that like the log thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Namsan,
Namsan?
could a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go to like a K-pop concert or all sorts of things like that.
Yeah, I guess those are on my
Okay,
list
okay.
too. But when I think of
Man, you were here to study.
it's right. I think right now it's just a lot harder because I thought I've done a year of studying. I thought I was going to get into level 2 if I'm being completely
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
So when I tested into level 1, I was like, oh, bet the first 6-7
Breeze
weeks
through it.
so easy. Bruh, it hit me like a ton of bricks in the face. So I said, okay, maybe let me lower my expectations
Yeah.
of what I will have time for. And I think too, I'm waiting on my art card. So I don't have Korean bank account yet. And my bank in the US charges an international fee every time I use it. And so I just haven't even thought about trips and stuff because I
Yeah.
don't want to buy tickets
Yeah,
until
yeah,
I can
yeah.
use a Korean
Yeah.
account. And then I'm not getting these ridiculous international fees added.
Are you at all interested in K-beauty?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't start washing my face until I was like with face soap until I was in my mid-20s. So
I still don't.
yeah.
Wash your face with the soap? Yeah. Oh, just water? I heard that it's good for your skin, though.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bought a bunch of stuff when I was here last summer, and I just finished it. So what were you gonna say?
Yeah, because I saw a lot of these TikTok videos from foreigners visiting Korea. Mostly they're about K-beauty.
Meditourism.
Yeah, like spa, like whatever, facial treatment. Yeah.
Yeah. I've thought about. I don't know. I put mascara on every day and call it good. Today I put on lipstick and blush because I was like, I'm gonna be on camera. But other than that, I was like, I don't really care about that. I probably should, but oh well. You know, black don't crack, so I was like, I feel like I'm good. I don't need a whole lot of
Asian don't
face.
raise
Yeah, blessed in that department. So I was like, I don't really worry as much about my face.
What is it? Temple Stay, right? That's popular.
Do you have a Korean friend?
Yeah, that lives in Busan. So no one here. I do. I haven't been yet. Jimjilbang?
Oh,
Yeah, there was one in Chicago that I went to all the time.
Oh, you'll get so many stares.
I know. So that's I'm not gonna lie. That is the one reason I haven't gone yet because I'm like, I when I started going in Chicago, I was one of very few non-Koreans at the one in Chicago. But in the last probably year and a half, it got really popular. Oh, it annoyed me so much. So much. First of all, because I was like, why y'all in my secret spot? I would go and spend 12, 13 hours there. But then also, I feel like they were very disrespectful. Like they came in very American.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a place.
Loud, not taking care of things.
Yeah, or just like
breaking the rules.
You walk in a room and they're just like super loud. And I'm like, this is supposed to be quiet and serene. And I should be able to take a nap. And why are you here? So all that to say, I really want to go, but I'm like, I know if I go, I'm gonna a lot of stairs, so I'm gonna.
I think if you go to Aquafield, you'll be fine. Those are like foreigner. There's generally always foreigners there, and it's kind of popular enough that you won't be fully singled out. But I think if you go to any like local place,
Is that the one in Starfield?
Yeah, they're generally connected to Starfield Mall, so they're all over Seoul. So that's the one we go to with our kids too.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fun. It's good. They're humongous.
Yeah.
The food. It feels a little bit too modern for my taste. Like I want the you crack an egg on your head and but this is like super modern and nice.
Okay.
But it's a good experience.
Yeah. Once my Korean is better, because that's the thing too, is like right now, I feel bad whenever I start and then they get like 2 sentences in. I'm like, I'm so sorry. So then I have to pull up my translation or they're trying to speak to me in English. And so I feel really guilty. And so like, let me work on this and then we'll go explore.
Don't feel bad. In my experience, I would just say go for it. Korea is also becoming more and more, I think, open and understanding of foreigners and not people who don't speak Korean coming and visiting. So just go for it.
Okay, I'll try.
Drop the nunchi. Yeah, Rachel, I think the thing we haven't gotten super deep into, we have touched on it, but something I wanted to talk about in this episode, the thing that stands out immediately when I talk to you is how diverse your friend group is. It's like super diverse, like not a little bit. And for me, I'm wondering like how intentional is that on your part? Did it just happen that way? Because I can't imagine it just happens that way, right? So how did this come to be? Is there anything that you did? Do you seek it out? Is it something your parents instilled in you? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Because you've had different roommates, different best friends. You go to a church that's Puerto Rican, right? Just like how it's so easy to just find your niche and stay there. It's comfortable, you're safe, there's community. But I think you go to extra lengths to do the opposite. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I do think it probably started with my parents of even understanding that just because you don't look like somebody or you don't have the same culture or you don't even have the same beliefs or things that you find important values, that they're not any less worthy of getting to know and being in relationship with. And so I think even amongst my parents and their extended family, we're all Black, but within that, there was so much diversity, I felt like. So even like going to visit an aunt's house or a grandparent's house, like it just was very different. And I think anytime we as kids would try to speak poorly about something or someone because an experience was different, my parents were really quick to just be like, it's not necessarily bad because it's different. Or if it was like a vice, right, they would be like, you know, that's just something we need to pray for them for, but they also just need to work through it, right? It's not, we're not going to judge them for it. Yeah. So I think that was part of it. I think too, me and all my siblings kind of got the curse of being creative, I would say. And so even growing up, nothing ever stayed the same. Even in our house, every 6 months, the furniture would switch around, right? So I think always craving things that are new. And we always had people in and out of our house. Our home was very open. And so we would have people of different backgrounds and different beliefs. My mom is a tell it how it is person, which I was always super embarrassed by as a kid, or you would think, oh my gosh, this person never wants to speak to us again. And they'd be best friends. So we would have the woman who worked behind the deli counter at Walmart at our house for lunch because my mom just struck up a conversation with her and invited her over. And or she would like occasionally, I remember one time we dropped her off at the store because my dad didn't want to unload all the kids. We came back and she was with a homeless man who needed to get somewhere. My dad was like, who's this? And she's like, oh, so-and-so, we're going to take him here. And so it just was like part of what we did. And so in that sense, I think now as an adult, it doesn't always feel intentional because we grew up with such diverse things. So even like part of why I loved acting was I met a lot of people who did not think the same as me, who did not believe the same as me, I taught acting for a while. And that was my favorite thing of getting to hear other people's stories and be like, we can still be friends. We can still have a relationship, even though we're coming from two different points of view. So it feels not intentional until I think things start to feel the same. So even in being here, trying to find my friend group in my community, I find myself bumping against if everyone is looking the same or thinking the same. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's a little more intentional than I realize, but it doesn't feel that way when seeking it out. It's just when it's missing, I'm like, oh, I need to get out of this circle, or I need to find more diversity.
It's such a blessing, I think. That's like a gift from your parents.
Yeah. I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful.
It's just a core value now for you, and you don't even have to intentionally seek it out. It just is natural for you to feel uncomfortable when everyone looks the same, thinks the same, etc.
But it's also a privilege that you have living in America, though.
Yeah.
Because you have so many people that have very diverse backgrounds and cultures. Yeah.
But I would say even in America, it's still very easy to fall into that pattern where you just stay with like-minded people, same political beliefs, same religion, same race. And I think you do have to be intentional to seek out diversity. Something I have not been great about in my post-20s life. I find my diversity in my friend groups is lacking. It was most diverse in elementary school.
Yeah.
Back when I really didn't even know what race was. And then I think middle school, high school, you started to segregate. And then college and after college, starting to work, it's just like, it's hard. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of respect. Thanks. This might seem a little bit trite, but still I want to give you a chance to answer. Like, how is that diversity, how do you feel like you benefited from it? I think having a diverse friend group, and if anything, I think, and are there any downsides too, just to give the complete picture?
Yeah. I think a big benefit has been being able to see the beauty outside of my own worldview or my own thinking, my own perception of life, to realize that there's value in how other people see things. And that was something I would teach in my communications class, was the importance of perception. And I was like, I think if we can grasp that concept, we can have a lot more grace for people, but also it then allows us to widen our circles, to realize that how you see the world affects how you live it out. And it's not good, it's not bad, it's just different from the way that I see it. But we can find we can meet each other there and be like, so I'm a big, like, I'm cool to agree to disagree. And I don't mind living in that tension. I do think, though, maybe a downside is oftentimes living in tension, right? Which leads to, I think we all naturally want to be comfortable. And so then you kind of seek comfortability in other ways that maybe are not as healthy. So I know like a lot of people really struggled during COVID. I did not, because I didn't have to see anybody. But it was like a year and a half of me. I just would go to work and then I would come home and wouldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't see anybody. And that's not healthy either, of just, but my work, I very much was like, even though it was like a Christian college, I would say I was one of 3 Black professors. My viewpoint on a lot of things was slightly different. And then I also was like, I just want to come in and give a different perspective. And so I was living in a lot of tension there. So then I come home, or even now I'm like already having to fight against, I come home, I do my homework, but then I just want to like veg and watch dramas for hours. And then it's like, no, like you need to find other ways of being uncomfortable. Don't just, sit on your butt and eat snacks from the Johnny John all day. It's not healthy. It's not good.
This is complete tangent, sorry.
Yes.
But when you watch K-dramas in Korea, how's it hit for you? Because for me, I love it. But I can imagine being like, I don't want to just be at home watching. I should go out and live it. I don't know. How does it hit for you? Is it any different?
No, I think because coming from LA and realizing the entertainment industry, I think when I watch entertainment, I'm able to separate it pretty easily. And then I also recognize that when it comes to media, we always present our best foot forward. So I know there was like the girl that blew up on social media because she was like, I came to Korea to find a K-drama man and like was like the absolute worst, right? But I'm like, she's an idiot. I probably shouldn't say that because like nobody is truly an idiot.
Yeah, how could she possibly think that was real life?
Right. Yeah. Also, I'm like, watch any American show. We are not like that. I was like, I'm sorry, Friends is the most bogus show to exist. Young people in their mid-20s that just go to each other's apartments, that are in full-time workforce, or they hang out in the coffee shop. That is not real life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's not real life at all. And so I think I can even look at American media and be like, this is an idealized version of the world that we live in, right? And I think the same is true of Korean dramas. And I've had a friend that actually moved to a country because of the movies and the shows that they watched there. And they were like, I want to find a love just like that. And I was like, you are an idiot. Like that. Also, it was written by a fictional person. And if it was written by a woman, that person is perfect on the show. Like, why? You want to know why women love Lovely Runner? Because it was written by a woman. And I'm sorry. That's what we want, you know? And so I just,
that was my gripe with that show, too.
I know.
The man was literally perfect. Yeah. Like, it's unbelievably.
Unbelievable. I'm watching a drama right now. It's so fascinating because I feel like I can kind of start to tell.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching a drama right now and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's written by a man. I'm pretty sure it's written by a man. So I was like, interesting.
I love it. All right. Well, we can't go down the K-drama route. Otherwise, we'll never leave.
Never.
Okay. Let's bring it home.
Yeah, this is a question that we ask for all of our guests. So if you could import one thing into Korean culture, what would that be? Or if you could export one thing from Korea to your culture, what would that be?
Now, obviously I'm new, so I feel like I'm still figuring it out. I think one thing I would import in would be more diversity. I think, I think
you're literally doing it yourself.
Yeah. But I think just every culture is more beautiful. But I think I love Korea's rich history, and to be able to pair that with like the history of other people and other cultures could create something really beautiful. Something I would like to export to the US would, I think, be more sense of collectivism and just having an Americanized version of collectivism, if that makes sense. Because I think that we can be so individualistic in America. And I think that there's something good to be said for thinking of people outside of yourself, for thinking more about the we than the me. And so to incorporate that, with all of the hot mess that is my country right now, I'm like so much of it, there's such a lack of grace or understanding. And I think a lot of it comes because people are like, well, I'm right, or this is my thought and my opinion, without thinking about how even just you sharing that affects other people in your circle that you claim to love. And if you really did love them, you could hold your tongue, right? Because that love is sacrifice, right? Love is thinking more highly of other people than yourself. And so, yeah, I think we really suck at loving people well in America. And I think some collectivism can help bring that about maybe a little bit more.
American Nunchi.
Yes.
That sounds like a great movie or drama title.
American Nunchi.
Yeah, I'll just say, for a Christian nation, America sucks at being Christian. Anyway, yeah.
I won't even go down that tangent. I got a lot to say.
Yeah, before we close, we want to give you a chance, of course, to, share any final thoughts and reflections. Also, you teased us with the podcast earlier. I didn't know you had one. With even a Korean American co-host. So maybe you could share more about that too before we end.
Yeah. Yeah, final thought. I would say if anybody is thinking about trying something new, just go for it. But do whatever you're going to do it with an open mind. I think that has been the biggest help. It's the most difficult thing to do because literally there are certain things that it's like, it would just be easier if we did it this way, right? Or if we were in America, this is how it'd be. But that's not helpful. So I'm like, just go and try. Listen, whenever I'm headed to get on the bus and people are pushing me to get on first, I want to be like, and I'm like, you know what? Just calm. Just be chill.
I just wish I heard that 4 years ago. It would have saved me a lot of angst.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be probably my biggest thing. Just encourage people, or just step outside of your comfort zone. Even if it is trying a new restaurant, go to where you are the person that you are the minority, or you are the minority in thoughts. It doesn't even always have to be minority in looks, but a place where you think different. Or I loved when I taught acting, I would have people that were in finance or businessmen come because they just wanted to do something different and be out of that bubble that they were in. And so it takes a lot of humility. So yeah, there's that. I do actually, I'm a super nerd, which I feel like we haven't really talked about, but I'm really weird nerdy. So I do a podcast with two friends from Chicago. One is Korean American, one is Puerto Rican, and then I'm Black. And it's called Multi Nerds Podcast. And we're just a bunch of oldest children that are highly opinionated, but grew up never really expressing it. And so now we do it.
This is your cathartic release.
Yeah, literally it is, but it's over dumb things. So it's like we will pick a fandom and just talk about it. So what did we just talk about? Lord of the Rings, but we ranked the scariest moments. But we'll do, the two guys are sports fans, and so we do a lot of drafting. So we create teams, and you got to draft your team. We'll rank our best moments. I've made them watch Twilight because I love Twilight. We talk Marvel, we talk Disney, things like that. And then I also play D&D.
Yeah.
You know what D&D is?
Yeah.
Do you know what D&D is?
Okay.
Yeah. So I do another podcast where I play D&D with, they're actually old college students of mine, but we all started playing D&D together. And so that one's called Tavern of Tomes. It's literally the dumbest thing, but it's so much fun. Yeah. It's how I'm getting my creativity out right now.
Cool. Yeah, we'll be sure to plug it in the socials. The first one sounds like a pop culture mashup, but with opinionated older kids.
Yes.
Older born kids. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I was excited when you guys did your K-pop episode or K-pop Demon Hunters episode because we talked about it as well. And so I was like, but it was so fascinating to hear the differences between y'all's takes and yours. And I was like, I love this.
I loved it. Hey, I feel like from the comments, people don't think I don't love it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I just think now it's getting maybe too much. But you did it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. It sounds so fake. I've honestly grown so much just listening to you today, just like our coffee chat before. I love your perspective, and I think you have a very healthy worldview. Even after 4 years of living here, I'm not even close. So I really appreciated everything you had to share. Thank you for coming on.
And I'm super excited to see your evolution of your thoughts after you live here longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. let's definitely keep in touch.
Yeah.
And as your language improves and you can start to hear what people are saying.
Yes, hopefully. That's all I want right now. It's like, I just want to be able to understand.
And we'll see if you stay longer than 1 year.
Yeah.
I feel like
Let's
it's
do-
hard
let's
to
do a
stay here 1 year.
6 months check-in.
6 months.
Yeah, yeah. Literally everybody in my life was like, "There's no way you're only staying for 1 year."
Well, yeah, I feel like
So I
2
was
years
like,
is a good time.
Yeah, I'm keeping it open.
Keep an
hand,
open
right?
mind,
You
yeah.
know, gap year. You never know what can happen.
I mean, I would stay as long as you can in your apartment right now.
Yes, listen. I said, and I can renew, right? And they said yes. I said
At
okay.
double the price.
Well, I think that was part of like if I let them know 2 months before I move out, I get to keep the price that I'm at.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the by
That's the
law.
rule?
Yeah.
Oh, just the 5% increase, right? Rent control.
For at least four, so after 2 years, you can only max up to 5%
5%
increase.
price increase, yeah.
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 And then another 2 years. So
Yeah. Although my apartment in Chicago is great, and I promised my landlord there I would die in it, so I will have to go back to America at some point just to keep that promise. But
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on. It
yeah,
was
thank
great.
you for having me. This is great.
And yeah, I'm excited for our listeners to hear. That's it for this week. If you want to support us, the best thing you can do is share our content with someone you think might enjoy or benefit from listening to it. I think today in particular has a ton of good stuff, especially for people who might be thinking about moving to Korea or thinking about any change in their life. As Rachel said, just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
All right. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.